We're back live. We're back live in the mix with Hugh. Today we will be talking about something interesting to me. Colorado football team, something that I love to watch before this year, I believe. I was a true fan of Deion Sanders and what he had going on and such a dad he was. But I think it's starting to change for me as the support wise. We'll be getting into it after this break. Welcome. I appreciate you for coming to view Live in the Mix. Yes, Live in the Mix with Hugh. Today we're gonna get into some things that kind of upset me to talk about, but I must keep it real, and that's the Colorado football team with Mr. Deion Sanders. This is his first year going without his son. Yeah, without his son, Shador Sanders. I need to do a video on that because I felt like the NFL did some things that I don't agree with myself. But that's not the conversation. The conversation today is, why am I starting to lean not being a supporter of Deion Sanders? They just played today. No, I lied. They just played yesterday night, and I would like to give you guys the stacks for that day. They went with their third string quarterback, something I wasn't a fan on, and this is really why I'm doing this video today. The stacks for that will be Stobbs went 19 for 35. 19 for 35 with yards. That is about 204 passing, averaged 10.7 yards, one touchdown that came at the end of the game, and 2 picks. He gave up 3 sacks. Your running backs, Price had 51 and Stobbs had 36 himself. That's something to get into, but I would like to lean into how Staub got his job. Staub. He'd been there from the start. He was really there before Deion Sanders got there, and they asked him, why did you stay? And he had a good story because he wanted to stick it through, be one of the ones that didn't get in the transfer portal and leave. End up being a good thing for him so far. Stobbs, I like the kid. I have no hate towards him, but I don't believe he should have been playing today. Salter should have been playing. He transferred. Salter actually has a good background that we won't get much into, but he was a great college player outside of Colorado. He came on his last year, if I may believe, and he played one game, and he looked okay. Came into the second game, and he did also well. Played against Delaware, and he lost his starting job to the third string, which is Dobbs. So I'm going to get into that right about now, and I'm going to tell you why I disagree with it. So you coming to this game against Delaware, where we all know Delaware is not a high team that you should be judging quarterback battles off of, because the very next week, which happened, could be very tougher than you imagine it could be when you're playing Delaware. They played the Houston today, and Houston, the Cougars, Houston Cougars, is in a division, and all these games count. So I don't know why Deion would do this, but he did it. So we go back into last week against Delaware. What happened at Delaware, I didn't like it, but I had to do my research before I talked about it. What I didn't like is Deion decides to do a quarterback battle week 2. You had all summer camp to see who your guys was. He claims he gets on this podium and he talks to God, and my God is awesome, but He talked to God, and this is what God gave him. I understand what you're saying, Deion, but I don't believe this was God. I believe this was you, and I'm going to tell you why. We entered the game, and Salter was pretty efficient. He went 12 for 15. 12 for 15. He went 4 out of 5 on third downs, and he scored 10 points. Once again, he went 12 for 15. He missed 3 balls. And that was 2 series. Third series, they went to Juju. I don't really care to even bring up his stats. I think he was 3 for 5, but he was efficient too with the time he had. So once again, he went 12 for 15, 4 for 5 in third downs, and 10 points before he went on to sit on the bench and let the other 2 quarterbacks go. When Juju got in, I think it was 3 for 5 once again, but Juju didn't have opportunities because guys was missing a couple balls to extend. So I think Juju went 2 series, if I'm not mistaken, and then they put in the third string. The play calling what got me. I will say this first and foremost for me. This offensive coordinator, he's not it. They say he comes from an NFL background. I would like to do more background check on him because his play calling is quite ridiculous, and I think it was ridiculous last year. He's pretty predictable, and he cannot, I commit to this, he cannot commit to the run. We got a little better running this year, and he still just want to be pass happy. I think that's little in his DNA. His play calling for the first 2 quarterbacks was all short throws, bubble screens, and maybe try to go down the field maybe once or twice when you got to have it. That's going to come back up big because when it got to the third screen, he didn't even touch a bubble screen, a quick throw. And I must say this, I'm not a coach, but I do know what makes sense to me, and I think what should make sense to you. If you don't have the guys to block a bubble screen or a quick pass, a quick screen, whatever you want to call it, you shouldn't be running it over and over and over again. That was my problem with him in the first game. You keep on doing these short throws and these short play calls, and now we're getting a third and something, and we're going 3 and out because your designs of play calling. So once again, Salter went 4 out of 5 on third downs and 12 of 15, and he got us 10 points. So Deion Sanders decides to take him out, go to Juju. Juju go 3 for 5. They take him out, and then we go to the guy named Staub. Staub started out, he went for 0 for 2 on his first throws. Third run bailed him out. So he would have been just like the other ones, but the coach actually did call a good play calling to the strength and did get a third down. It was no quick passes, as I mentioned earlier. It was no quick passes. And he got a touchdown on that series after he got bailed out. And because it wasn't no quick passes, he was able to disgruntle the Delaware cornerbacks, DBs. It was pretty easy. It wasn't nothing even special, but it bailed him out. He wasn't doing a slant because anytime he did anything what the other quarterback did, it looks the same. These guys not catching in traffic like that. They missing balls. But what was a go-ahead was a go ball for number 8. I don't know his name. I apologize. But it was a go ball to his wide receiver. Other than that, if it wasn't long, guys, it didn't look good for neither of the 3 quarterbacks. I would like to show you guys something that really, where my mouse here, that really aggravated me, what I didn't like. Let me get it pulled up here. Let's get to it. I want you guys to see this. There's no sound. Look at that. Look at that. I know y'all better can see it. Y'all see this? Look how Coach Prime is. Look at it. I would want us to see it again. They scored the touchdown. Went fast. Everybody's hype. Got a little speed it up. Then you see this. Uh, Coach Prime. Coach Prime. Coach Prime is giving his boy some glory. My thing is why I even bring that up, guys, is you didn't see that, and maybe the camera didn't show. I wish somebody can get this video and maybe prove me wrong, but I believe the writing was in the books. The writing was in the books. Um, when you're in a boxing match, you have to beat that champion. It could be a good fight, but you have to beat that champion. If it's any close, the champion wins. That's just the way it go. That's how it should have went on here. So once again, I would say Salter went 12 of 15, 4 or 5 on third downs with 10 points. He ran for one and they kicked the field goal. And if I'm not mistaken, they could have scored, but something came up then. I go back to my notes, and what got me was on this particular matter was, okay, if you're gonna do a real quarterback competition, let's keep it going. What they did was he scored. He scored before the half. He got him 7 points. He enters the third quarter starting. And once again, the play calling was definitely different from the first two. And if I'm wrong, somebody please prove me wrong. The coach wasn't calling nothing like he was calling when it came to stops. To me, it looked like the writing was on the wall already, and this is what Deion wants to do. One thing I want to mention, make sure I don't forget, is if I haven't already, Deion did say they in the press conference they were screaming stop name in the section. I will have you know, he told the reporter they had to stop screaming Juju, which is the 5-star quarterback that came to Colorado name, so he can focus. So Deion, let's not act like they was just so high on Stobbs that this is just God gave you this light. God gave you this vision. God gave you this talking that the third string quarterback that stuck it out with you was the one when you have a 5-star freshman and a guy that's been proven that's a dual quarterback in the college that has already proved itself. He just need to get a better higher level college team in a different power ranking to leave and let the world see how dynamic. But he didn't have to do that because if you do your research on him, they would know he was pretty dynamic. He did some special things, and I think I would do a video on him specifically. I really felt like you tried his gangster. Yeah, I felt like you tried his gangster. Salter came in the game after 2 hours of sitting on the bench. What would you do if you was playing some sports and you sat down that long? If we having a quarterback battle, Deion, let's switch them. Let's see if we can keep that momentum so it can be a clear sign. You didn't let Juju back in to the last 2-3 minutes. So when we talk about quarterback battles, and to me, you let Staub get out when the stuff went to looking funny. I almost cussed right there. When the stuff went to looking funny, when the play calling, when the play of Staub went to looking ugly like it did today, that's when you put Salter in. And so I got a couple more notes before I let you out of here is first series back, Salter gets the first down, get called back for holding. So on third down, Salter rushed because they went to calling this crazy call all of a sudden with short stuff ain't open. Now I will say in the series after that, Stobbs did kind of maybe would have missed a wide open go ball. But one thing the play calling did dictate is they rolled Salter out. Stobbs got to stay in the pocket Salter had to roll out and he had to be a quick decision because the defenders was already at his neck. I do think he could have stuck in there and maybe seen him. But when I'm just coming in for 2 hours, I'm sitting on the bench like I was the backup, and you calling these crazy plays and I'm trying to make a play to prove myself. I make mistakes because no game is perfect. So that's 50-50 for me because I don't even know why all game we didn't roll out. But somehow when Salter get in the game, we roll out. And I don't want to hear that these two different quarterbacks because they almost the same when it comes to they both can run and they both can pass. Same thing. Salter can pass the ball and be in the pocket as well. He might not be the best, but he can do it. So it was no reason, coach, offensive coordinator. I don't even care to know your name because I'm kind of pissed off of how you did these quarterbacks like this with Deion Sanders, who I'm beginning not to support and see the little shades of what some people talk. So he scrambles for the first down, and the center goes to hold. Then the running back gets a first down, or as it might be a pass player, like a screen. The running backs get the first down, and guess what? The wide receiver holds. So 3 and 6 wide receiver falls. Oh, 3 and 6. Oh, yeah. So I'm sorry. What end up happening is it's 3 and 6. They don't get like NFL when you hold, you get 10 yards. So let's bring you back up to date. First series, he come back. They call him back the crazy plays. It's nothing like the third string quarterback stop. They call him the short plays and couple runs, which this coach don't even like to commit to the run. Salter gets the first down. The center holds. They call a good pass screen play, first down, and the wide receiver holds. That make it 3rd and 6. When it's 3rd and 6, guess what? And the announcer made a good uh a good analysis on this. It's 3rd and 6, and we got a false start. 3rd and 6, it was a false start, wide receiver. One thing he said that I agree with that I didn't pay attention to or might want to pay attention to before I seen it and looked at the film was these quarterbacks have different cadence. And when you sit your starting quarterback down for 2 hours and put him back in after being efficient, you put him back in the fourth quarter after he's cold with them getting used to the cadence of stops, not rotating them, keeping their head on a swivel. You let it all go all the way in the fourth quarter. The cadence a little off. And now you done had 3 penalties back to back to back. So the first series end up going nowhere. Um, The second series, I think he ran the ball a couple times, but when it was third down, what got me was it was right back to that play calling, which everything was all hitches. So I kind of get confused because when I didn't like it before I watched the film, I end up seeing that, hey, this is actually something somebody needs to pay attention to. Once again, my boy Deion goes in there and he says, God this, God that. Brother, don't use God in that manner. I love God. God is an awesome God. But God didn't give you that. You did that. When it's clear that a coach that calls the plays for offense, call it for 2 quarterbacks that happen to be the first and the second string, a different way than the third string that you say God, the one who won't call you, but from play call 1 was a different call. You let the man stand up in there and pick the DBs apart, which wasn't high DBs because they was Delaware. What happened to that same energy on both of them other players? I promise you, you can go back and watch the film and you will see for quarterback 1, Salter, and for quarterback 2, Juju, he was calling nothing but short stuff and the run was getting stopped because you wasn't consistent enough with the runs. And sometimes the run would pop open. But my point is this call was already made before the game. You just needed him to come through. But that leads us to this game, and you got smashed. You got smashed pretty good. And I'm going to go right back to 20-36. 20-36. Staubs had 19 for 35 yards. 19, I apologize. 19 for 35 with 204 yards, with one touchdown at the end when it didn't matter, and 2 picks. What you gonna do, Deion? You gonna keep him in the game? What you gonna do, Deion? You ain't gonna see your other quarterbacks? You messing up your year, Deion. And I hope I can start back being a supporter, but as of right now, I can't support that because I feel like you're playing in just like the rest of the world. This stuff is favoritism and not on good play. Sometimes, but this ain't good play. He's a third string for a reason. Staub is a third string for a reason. And he's good. And he's good to relieve somebody. But for us to get a boy named Salter, that's a bad boy. That's his last name, by the way. And for him to get benched like he had a bad game, maybe you need to fire your offensive coordinator, because your offensive coordinator, brother, is nothing nice. And I don't mean that in a good way. He's nothing nice because his play calling is predictable. He's getting players set up, and you got to know your personnel. That's one thing I do know. Why are you calling all these quick screens, bubble screens, quick plays, basically like run plays, and you keep continuing to see your wide receivers won't block? If your wide receivers won't block, stop calling the plays. But what is funny is the minute that the third string quarterback gets in, you don't call nothing like that. If I'm lying, I'm flying. You can go look at the film yourself because I took the time to look at it. So it leads me to this. Deion, what are you going to do? I'm anxious to see what are you going to do, because I was a supporter and I love what you did with your kids. You did something that no other coach, father, son has ever did. But now you may be getting exposed. This is not a favoritism game. This is a who's the best 11 man play. And you act like you was that person, but you set up these quarterbacks because of who you wanted for whatever reason. It's going to bite you in the ass if you don't get it together now. You lost a good one because you needed this win to go farther. You're 1-2. You 1-2 because you don't got the talent. You 1-2 because of your playmaking decision with the quarterbacks and that bad offensive coordinator that you know you need to get rid of. And oh yeah, we didn't even get on the defense. You got all these Hall of Famers and NFL guys, and they not coaching up a damn thing. Sap, who come from the Bucks, that's my favorite team. They're not doing a damn thing. So let's get this together and let's pray that you can find somewhere in your heart to do the right cause and not favoritism. Defense need to get together. You need to get that quarterback situation together, because Staub is not the answer right about this time. It's 2 boys over there that do their thing. Juju Salter, I'm fighting for you because I know. You don't got to tell me. Ain't nobody had to tell me nothing. I can watch film and tell and use my own instincts to understand that this was a setup call, and I don't like it. We're live in the mix with Hugh. I appreciate you for viewing me. I hope you like it. I just give what I think and what my clues tell me, and I'm not going to always be right, but I believe I won't always be wrong either. Does that make sense? I won't always be right, but I believe I won't always be wrong too. I won't always be right, but I know I'm not wrong all the time. So I appreciate you for viewing Live in the Mix with Hugh, and I see you next time. Go Bucks.